Hi, welcome back to Wacky Wednesdays. So today we're going to have a look at the AC700 action camera from Victure. So I got this from Amazon on a daily deal. It was reduced from, I think it was £55 down to around 41. It records in 4K 30 frames a second, 2.7 30 frames a second, 1080 60. So let's have a look what you get in the box. Very GoPro-esque, the box. So this is the camera itself. It's actually quite a nice waterproof housing on this one as well. Some of them look a bit cheap and tacky. This one actually nice, and the buttons are very positive. The buttons on here tend to be a bit dreadful, but this is actually quite nice. So let's just take it out of the case. So let's pull it out of the housing. It's quite heavy in the housing, but the camera's actually really light when you take it out. So this is the camera. It's plastic, as you can tell, it's not metal. Put that in frame, there you go. So it's plastic fronted. You can see underneath you've got your battery compartment, and at the side you've got USB, and here you've got an external microphone socket, which is unusual on one of these. And obviously there's your SD card slot. It does not come with an SD card slot, but it does come with the external microphone, which is quite a nice touch, to be honest. Not something you normally see. And on the other side you've got two buttons that move your menu up and down. So let's just have a quick look at it. So let's turn it on. So let me just run through the features of the camera with you. So at the top of the screen you'll see it says 2.7K 30 frames a second. That's obviously its rates recording in. The icons on the other side you've got a Wi-Fi signal which isn't turned on, TF to tell you it's got a card in, and then the other thing is your battery level. The screen goes into mode. Bottom you've got your date and time. You can turn that off, you don't have to have that turned on. And here's your recording time at the other side, and then whether you've got your microphone plugged in or not. So if you press the button on the front and hold it in, so a single press will take it into its modes. So here's your mode. So here's your video resolution, and you adjust it by going up and down with the buttons on the side. And then to adjust it, click on the top and then click on the button, it'll save it. So it has EIS, so electronic image stabilization. I do not recommend using this. It makes your picture very, very soft. But you might want to use it if you have one of these. Looping your video, in other words, just keep the same thing going round. You can time lapse, you can do slow-mo, you can have audio record, so you can use an audio recorder. And then if you look at the bottom, you've got another set of settings. Just bear with me 1 second, so let me get to them. And here's your photo resolution, so you can adjust your photos. You can have 16 megapixel, click on that. You can have 12 megapixel, 8 megapixel or 6 megapixel if you want to reduce it. Let's come back out of there. Then you've got your general settings. So you've got your volume, so that's coming out of here. You've got your beep on and off, your exposure value, your white balance, ISO, effects, so you can adjust that, have normal, sepia, black and white, negative, contrast, saturation, sharpness. These are all for the screen, so when you're watching it back. Here you've got language, car mode, so you can have it automatically turn on when if you're in the car. Power off, auto, date and time format, stamp. So if you press that button there, we'll turn the stamp off. The stamp's now turned off, as you can see. It's very rich in features, to be honest. Upside down. So if you're having it in a quad, for instance, you want to put it upside down, that's what you can do. Screensaver, your format, so it's NTFC. It's going to sorry, this is going to format the card. I will format the card actually. And then your firmware version. And if you click it once more, you've got back Press the shutdown button to exit and back into the screen. There you go. So you can see, I hope you can see from here anyway, that the screen is quite sharp. It's got a decent resolution screen on it. I don't know if you can see that very well. If the camera will pick it up. But the screen resolution is quite sharp. Certainly adequate for what you need it for. So this is the camera. They're the features of the camera. It's quite feature rich actually for one of these, but it tends to be typical on one of these cheaper cameras. Now, the one thing I will say to you is, at the end of this video you're going to see some filming that I'll do. I'll do some quick video outside, a quick 30 seconds filmed in 4K, 2.7 and 1080 with the external microphone plugged in so you can see what that sounds like as well. You're going to see in 4K it's not the best. It can't handle movement very well because it's frame rate. It says 30, but I'm not too sure what that is, if it really is. 2.7 is more than adequate and 1080 is good. So also in the box you get a whole heap of accessories. Loads of accessories. You tend to get with these, so you get handlebar grip. This is the external microphone, which is something you don't normally get with one of these. So I'll let you make your own mind up on this, because I'll plug it in when I do the recording outside so you can hear it for yourself, see what you think it sounds like. Now the only thing with any of these, including GoPro, is they do not come with a mount on the bottom to put your tripod, so you need one of these. It does come with this, so you simply flick the camera in like this. I wish it just had an adapter at the bottom, and there you go. But it is solid and it doesn't move, so you can still see your screen at the back, and you can still fasten accessories to it obviously now using them. You get a set of straps, some more straps, cleaning cloths, some cable ties, some mounts with the double-sided pads on, some more mounts, yet more mounts, and now you get a remote control. So, top one is for recording, is for pressing to do the camera, bottom one for the video. Works absolutely flawlessly. So much easier than having to, especially if I use this on the top of my head and I use it as a head cam, stopping and starting your video can become a bit of a nightmare because you have to reach for the button every time. One of these, it's much better. And you get the other back for if you don't want to use it for waterproof. So this is a waterproof back on this one. Obviously there's no slots, but no good if you want to use the internal microphone. And then this one here, you have the slots in the back. It comes with two batteries, one that's in it and then you get a spare. And it charges via a USB lead, which I think is in here somewhere. Yeah, the USB, which just simply plugs into the side of the camera, or you can get little mounts. I've got a little charger that charges 2 or 3 of these batteries at the same time. The cheapest, it's about 5 or 6 quid. So what do I think to it? Well, I really like it, and what I use this for is when I'm recording car footage, I like to have a camera low down. I don't want to put my GoPro on the floor or my session, so I use one of these on a tripod, just in case I've run into it with the car, which I'm quite capable of doing. So I use a cheaper camera. For this is fantastic. These kind of cameras are great if you're using them on a tripod. You're going to see from the video, because I won't have it on a tripod, I'll be walking around with it, and because the stabilisation isn't turned on the videos you're going to see, because it's that bad. You'll see what I mean. It's a bit up, you get quite a bit of movement, and if the frame rate's not great, that's exaggerated, but these are fantastic when mounted on a tripod. But the price I paid for it at 41 quid, yeah, I think it's decent. I wouldn't have been happy had I paid the full price for it because I don't think it's worth the money. The 4K is not usable in my opinion. You'll see for yourself. 2.7 is decent and 1080p is great. So, decent enough camera. If you're looking for something cheap, just to running 1080p 60 frames a second, I think it's absolutely great. But don't expect miracles because it's a cheap camera. I read the reviews on this thing and some people are saying it's as good as GoPro. It's not. This is not a GoPro beta by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a decent enough camera for the price. Enjoy clip the video that you've got coming up. Make your own mind up on the video quality, but as I say, I think it's decent enough for what it is, and at 41 quid it's probably at the top limit of what I'd want to pay for it, to be honest, but you make your own mind up. Thanks ever so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. So this is the first video test. It's filmed in 2.7K at 30 frames a second, and obviously using the external mic. Excuse the shake, that's down to my hand, not the camera. But I hope you can see that the footage doesn't actually look bad for the price of the camera. But like I said in the review, it's probably top end of what I'd like to pay for this. So let's test another mode. So this is filmed in 4K 30 frames a second. So although the picture's sharp, you're going to see the frame rate's not the best in the world. It says 30 frames a second, and if you look at the properties on the video, it says 30 frames a second, but it's not managing to cope at all with it. I'm guessing the speed of the sensor inside isn't quick enough to deal with this. So let's test it in 1080p 60. So this is filmed in 1080p 60, which is what I tend to use for recording, for what I use them for. Simply because of the fact that I'll record the other part of the video in 1080p 60, and it's much easier and quicker to upload to YouTube and to obviously process the video. But as you can see, the 1080p 60 looks not too bad at all. I must say that all the videos you see now have all been filmed on a very grey day. It's not a nice day here at all, so you're going to have to give a little bit of weight to the camera on that. It would look better in a brighter day. Thanks for watching.